time has come to welcome a new four-legged family member into your home. Should you adopt your new pet from a shelter or rescue, or buy it from a breeder? In our home, we currently have 3 dogs, all rescues. Spaz we got from my parents when he was kicked out of their mobile home park. Izzy was from the Crow Indian Reservation and started her life out as a stray, and our final dog is Minda. She was turned into the rescue organization by her previous owners, who we later found out were neglectful. Yet all 3 are happy, healthy dogs who have a great life. With the millions of animals currently in shelters, should a pet be bought from a breeder or adopted from a shelter or rescue organization? I plan to show the pros and cons of adopting a pet from a shelter and the pros and cons of buying a pet through a breeder. And we'll start with adoption. First off, it saves lives. The Humane Society has this to say about saving lives. Each year, 2.7 million adoptable dogs and cats are euthanized in the United States, simply because too many pets come into shelters and too few people consider adoption when looking for a pet. The number of euthanized animals could be reduced dramatically if more people adopted pets instead of buying them. When you adopt, you save a loving animal by making them part of your family and open up shelter space for another animal who might desperately need it. The second is lower cost. According to VetStreet, adopting a pet from an animal shelter is much less expensive than buying a pet at the store or through other sources. Buying a pet can easily cost $500 to $1,000 or even more. Adoption costs range from $50 to $200. In addition, animals from many shelters are already spayed or neutered and vaccinated, which makes the shelter's fee a bargain. And you can choose the age of the animal. If you want a puppy or a kitten, they have puppies and kittens. If you want a young animal, but that's not quite fully an adult, they have them. If you want a young adult, they have them in shelters. If you want an older animal, they have them. You can choose whatever age that you want for your pet. There is this built-in support system with the shelter organization. They will give you as much information on the animal as they have. And there is always the built-in, if for some reason this animal does not fit in with your family once you get it home, bring him back. We will always, they will always take the animal back. They can be pre-trained. Sometimes people take animals to shelters that they've had for years and they're moving to a different place and they can't bring their animal with them. That animal is completely trained. Isabella, our one from the Crow Indian Reservation, she was gotten about 6 months before we got her, and in those 6 months she lived in with a foster family, and she was taught how to go out to the bathroom, and so by the time we got her, she was completely potty trained, and she has been great. The downside of a shelter animal is the background is iffy. You don't quite know for sure what type of background that the animal that you're getting has. We were told Minda had been turned in because they had to find a different place to live and they couldn't have their dogs with them. And so we got Minda, and she is almost 2 years old. And by the time we got her, when we took her to our vet to get spayed, she had already had at least 2 litters of puppies at 1.5 years, and she was in heat. So, we don't know. You really can't guarantee the background of the animal when you get it from a rescue organization. Now, when you go to a breeder, breeders are a great choice for service and working dogs. Police dogs, definitely. When you're doing a service dog, dog for the blind, a psychiatric dog, or a helper dog, that's a good place. You have a choice of the breed so that you can have the dog that matches the work that you want the dog to do. In the Washington Post article, Why I Would Never Adopt a Shelter Dog Again, Aaron Auerbach said, I started researching, sending emails, and making calls to breeders. Breeders seem safer. They've had the animal since birth and know his or her temperament and medical history. They also know an animal's bloodlines and family history. There is no such thing as a crystal ball, but reputable breeders can provide a lot of more information. And that is true. My daughter's best friend Sam has her dog, Akoda, is a puppy, and she is right now going through training to become a service dog. When Sam was talking to Akoda's breeder family about her, they told her that this dog would be probably good. Her mother is a full golden retriever, and her dad was a fence jumper. But Akoda is a very laid back dog, and she is smart as can be. And she is, as I said, currently in training. You do have to train your dog when you get it from a breeder, because obviously you're starting with a puppy. But you know the dog's medical background. You know what shots it's had. You know everything about that puppy. Plus, the plus with a breeder is you know the parents of that dog. You know how healthy the mom and dad are, and sometimes even further back in generations. You know your dog's medical history plus the parents' medical history, which is so important. The main thing with the breeder is it is very expensive, because it is. Purebred dogs are expensive. Now, in conclusion, both ways, if you go through a rescue group or a breeder, you bring an important member of your family into your life. But right at the moment, with the millions of pets in shelters, unless you have a need of a specific breed, I urge you to please adopt and not shop.